this video, I'm going to discuss how cheating your taste buds with artificial sweeteners can actually cause weight gain, and artificial sweeteners can also upset your gut microbiome. Hello, my name is Dr. Iggy Suse, and I'm a functional or integrative medical doctor. Welcome to my channel Gut Health for Life, where I'll be discussing issues related to gut health and the microbiome. In this video, I'm going to explain how consuming artificial sweeteners can make you gain weight instead of maintaining or losing weight. There are other more serious harms that can occur with continued consumption of artificial sweeteners. And I'll talk about these as well. And what about natural, no-calorie sweeteners like stevia? Are they harmless? I will talk about them as well. Artificial sweeteners are among the most widely used food additives worldwide. Overall, more than 23,000 products worldwide contain these sweeteners. They are consumed by obese and lean individuals alike. Artificial sweeteners are used in soft drinks, lollies, baked goods, breakfast cereals, yogurts, jellies, jams, chewing gum, breath fresheners, and health bars including protein bars and protein drinks. They are considered safe and beneficial owing to their no-calorie content and are being recommended for weight loss and for individuals suffering from diabetes. There is some evidence that artificial sweeteners can be beneficial in preventing weight gain, but the weight of evidence, no pun intended, is that continued intake of artificial sweeteners can lead to problems with how the body handles sugar. It is worthwhile understanding when artificial sweeteners were discovered and how research has evolved around these substances, and particularly the understanding on how the sensation of taste affects the body. The oldest artificial sweetener, saccharin, was discovered almost 150 years ago. It was initially used as a sugar substitute for diabetics, but a sugar shortage during World War II led to saccharin's widespread use, especially in soft drinks. Around this time, the marketing changed, with wording on soft drink bottles subtly modified from "for use only in people who must limit sugar intake" to for use in people who desire to limit sugar intake, and the boom in the sales of artificial sweeteners containing products started. We now have a number of different artificial sweeteners on the market. The commonly used ones are saccharin, or the brand name Sweetex, sucralose, Splenda, aspartame, Equal, and others like cyclamate, neotame, and isosulfame K, and elitame. The common thinking around artificial sweeteners is they are sweet, have no calories. What's the harm? To explain that, I need to discuss what occurs around eating. It is not just feel hungry, eat food, gets digested, and that's it. Eating is a complex process that occurs with hunger, the desire to satisfy the hunger, the taste of the food, the smell of the food, and the connections within the brain before it responds to continue eating or stop eating. There's another factor to take into account, and that is what happens in the gut when food is eaten. It is a fascinating process as it is complex, but I will keep it as simple as possible. The problem is that eating and stopping eating involve a complex interaction of receptors from the taste buds, on the tongue, the smell of food, the neurological connections to different parts of the brain that results in a sense of satisfaction, and the mood change that occurs from enjoying a good tasting meal. There's also a neurological connection that lets you know when you have eaten a meal with nutrients. When all these factors are satisfied, there's feedback from the brain to let you know that you're full and satisfied, and so stop eating. So a number of factors have to come together for the brain and the gut to respond in a particular positive manner. The taste and smell and nutrients have to be there. By nutrients, I mean sugar as carbs, or fat, or protein. We're talking about sweet taste here, so I will confine myself to talking about the sugar. I also want to make clear that I'm not talking about overeating sugar, which brings addiction and binge eating, and that involves different aspects of the brain. And it's beyond the scope of what we can cover here. So back to discussing normal processes of sugar, how the body processes sugar. When artificial sweeteners are consumed, the complex messaging is interrupted, as there is the sweet taste, but there's no sugar for energy that the body expects, and there's no feeling of satisfaction that comes after eating a certain amount of sugar, because there's no sugar. To compensate for the lack of satisfaction and the lack of nutrients, in this case sugar, the message from the brain is to continue eating, as it is looking for the energy-dense sugar that it expects from the sweet taste if more food is eaten. There is no message to stop eating if the same nutrient-poor, artificially sweetened food is consumed, until the overeating occurs, until the overfull feeling in the stomach takes over to stop eating. Now, that is not all. There's another mechanism that affects how the body responds to artificial sweetness. There are taste receptors in the gut as well as on the tongue. That does not mean that the gut tastes the food, but it picks up that sweet food has been eaten and consumed, and this triggers a series of actions to prepare for the calorie-containing sweet foods, that is sugar, that is about to reach the gut. A hormone gets triggered, and this hormone triggers the release of insulin, whose function is to move sugar, once it gets into the bloodstream, into the cells. All this happens if sugar is eaten, but it also happens when a non-caloric sweetener is consumed. But when that happens, no calories are coming down to the gut, so the body has been tricked, but still responds to the sweet taste of artificial sweetness by triggering the release of insulin. So there's an abnormal response by the body that interferes with how the body handles sugar, leading to glucose intolerance, and can eventually lead to the development of type 2 diabetes. Studies have confirmed that consuming artificial sweeteners can lead to diabetes. Artificial sweeteners also impact the gut microbiome. As these sweeteners are not digested or absorbed by the body, they do end up intact in the large bowel and can then affect the gut. Two sweeteners, saccharin and sucralose, affect the gut bacterial populations negatively and cause an imbalance that has also been implicated in causing glucose intolerance. Here is another way that these sweeteners can cause type 2 diabetes. A recent large-scale French study involving over 100,000 participants showed that artificial sweetener intake was related to an increased incidence of cardiovascular disease. I've tried to make this video on artificial sweeteners as non-technical as possible, but simply put, the take-home message is artificial sweeteners are not good as weight-reducing product in the long term. In fact, it can cause weight gain. Long-term use can upset the mechanisms that are involved in weight control and how your body manages sugar. This can result in the development of type 2 diabetes and cardiovascular disease. Artificial sweeteners also affect the gut microbiome and cause dysbiosis, that is an imbalance in the gut bacteria that can lead to all sorts of problems that can stem from a resulting leaky gut. So am I saying just eat sugar instead of using artificial sweeteners? No. We need to reduce our dependence on sweet food and move to healthier eating, healthier choices with vegetables and grains and legumes. Now, what about natural no-calorie sweeteners like stevia? Whilst there are no convincing studies to the negative effects, given the taste-bud-brain connection that I've just described, I would be careful about taking stevia long-term. You must understand that in stevia you get as drops or tablets, are highly purified and extracted. Interestingly, the whole leaf extract of stevia is used in parts of South America to treat diabetes. While it is sweet with no calories, there are other compounds within the leaf that have effects that treat the high blood sugar and high insulin in type 2 diabetes. These compounds are not found in the highly purified extract that we get in the stevia drops or tablets. Mother Nature provides amazing cures found in whole plants, but we miss out on a lot by refining and purifying out the good stuff. I hope you enjoyed this video. I would love to see your comments below, including any suggestions for future videos. Please subscribe below, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you for watching.